Does anyone have any questions? So I saw a lot of questions in the Discord, which was cool. It's nice. It's nice to have that. But this is the post-lab section. I was thinking about how useful this is. It's nice to see participation for me, but especially if we keep especially if we keep the Zoom going and the Discord going during the lab. I might just try to operate this kind of like I would. I mean, unless there's something important for us to do that we need to get together as a class to talk about, it might be more relevant just to kind of keep this at like a attend the class basis. So I see that you came, you're doing the lab, and then if you feel like you've gotten what you need, you don't need to come back. But I need to see. Let me clarify that, or maybe figure that more. Then well, I can leave this up to you guys if you think this is how useful it is. If it's not useful, I don't see why you would need to come back.
I like it, just in case we do have any questions. This lab's like pretty easy, but for the last lab, that was like pretty confusing. I feel like it's nice to be able to come back if we have any questions.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's why I have it available. So I mean, I'll still keep doing it. It's more than thinking, I just don't know if I'm gonna make it mandatory. I think definitely pre-lab stuff it should be, but post-lab, I mean, it's kind of up to you. I'm gonna host it regardless. So you guys have any questions about this lab, about last lab, anything else? Even just like lecture stuff, if you're in a lecture or whatever. I mean, it's your lab, so you can make whatever you want of it.
Wait, so in the future, it's not going to be like mandatory to come back to the post lab unless you have a question?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do something like that because if you don't need to be here, I don't see why you should. The pre-lab makes quite a bit of sense, just so I can see like where everyone is, and especially so I can make sure that you're actually doing everything, and I get a gauge. I mean, a lot of people I don't see anyway, like actually like literally, but so it's kind of hard to gauge. I guess when I start seeing the lab reports and grading them, it'll give me a better idea. So for me, the pre-lab, post-lab is a way to help you guys, of course, first and foremost, and secondly, it's a way for me to gauge participation, so that I know how I can allot those points out. And because under normal circumstances, this will make a lot more sense because you guys are actually doing the experiment and then you're coming back and we clarify, okay, how did it go? Any questions on that? Okay, questions on the formatting, fine, we got the formatting done. This is what you need to have done. You need to have this report in this way, and then for next week, come with this. These things kind of happen more organically together because we talk about these things a lot of times before in the pre-lab, and then we also talk about this, like this has happened a lot in the discussion in the Discord. So if you guys aren't following the Discord, which I'm not going to assume that everyone is, though I'll recommend it because it's nice because then we have like the best thing about this, what I really like about it is not only is it nice because people can log on and talk to each other, and I can do that too, which actually makes things really easy sometimes compared to writing it out. What's nice is that we do have things written out, so the things I've typed on there you can always reference back to in the future, as opposed to emailing me. So probably one thing I want to mention, kind of keeping with like a regular lab format, would be for this lab report in particular, and for future simulation labs, I can't always promise that the calculations is going to be or are going to be pretty naturally part of the sheet that you complete. It was in this case, so that's why I'm just having you guys do that. But make sure that you fill out the sheet from page 25 to 28, or whatever it is, and then write the objective. When you do the formatting, of course, if you're taking everything out of the lab and of the sheets and you're writing your own, that makes it's made it very easy to write objective first. If you can write the objective before the lab, that would be really, really cool. That's by far the most intuitive and best way to do it. If you have some issue with that, let me know. The calculation should be naturally part of the lab report. You don't need to worry about that. And then at the end, maybe you can make a table like an Excel or something, or handwrite it. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. That just inputs the results. And like I said in Discord, the results here are the calculations for your phase changes. So I think it asks for, I know it asks for boiling point. Does it ask for melting point? Yeah. So melting point and boiling point, and then the substance. You also might want to consider that on page 8. Yeah, basically page 8. And then, sorry, not page 8. On page 27, question 8, that's kind of the crux of the results. And then you're going to calculate the percent error as compared to the literature value. That percent error is also part of your results. The literature value is not a result. You didn't get that. You didn't observe that. That's just something that you're using for reference. Then the conclusion, like I said before, you address the answer to the objective, and you need to write it on your own words. So please don't write out what I wrote out, because it's not valid. Something along the lines of kind of like testing the validity of the simulation and seeing how well this represents, like how close is the simulation to reality with regards to these 4 substances. And then you show the results. You give me those phase changes, and then you give me the percent error, and then you can kind of gauge, okay, well, my percent error is massive. I have 400% difference. I guess it wasn't a very good simulation. Something like that. Any questions? Okay. What else? That's kind of it. If you guys have questions for the first slide report, you can ask them. A student asked me earlier to go over standard deviation, but I didn't want to do that when everyone was quiet and doing their lab. So if anyone wants to stay, like if everyone feels fine and comfortable and whatever, then if there's no questions, then you guys are free to leave. And then if anyone wants to stay to watch that, I'll go over that, or I'll just write the student email about it. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. This is your section. The Discord thing is a really good idea. I guess that's my last conclusion. This is something that I hope you guys use in the future, because it's great, because then you guys can all see each other's questions, and then there'll be a lot less redundancy in the future. So I'm really happy.
We have a Discord for my other classes too, and it's really helpful when other students are able to collab like this.
Yeah, it's also great for me. Well, it's good for me in terms of grading participation, because then I can see when you guys are talking and doing stuff and helping other students out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I do pay attention to that, because I mean, I have to input a grade, and I don't want this to be arbitrary. So the more you guys can show me something, the better. All right, but yeah, that's everything. If you guys have any questions, you're free to go. If you have any questions. And
thank you, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah.
I was actually not here for the first hour of the lab, and when I got back, like everybody was gone. So I've only been here for like 30 minutes.
So I'm going to upload the video onto YouTube. I don't know how long it takes to watch. I mean, I don't know how long it takes to upload, but once I get a process, I'll upload it, then you can watch it. I don't know how valuable it is. I'll try to summarize what I remember from it that would be relevant for you to know. Basically, what I was thinking is that it might be nice to make more use of the Zoom time, because a lot of times, since this is online, I feel like, because this is not a lecture, I'm not just giving you guys information. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And so it might make more sense for me to change the deadlines for reports to noon. So basically, like you can come, and then like if you're still a little bit confused with something, you have because right now it's at 9:30, but that's only good for like very much last minute questions, like do I include this table, yes or no? But if I come noon, then it's like, well, I still have to calculate this. Maybe we can go over that. And usually once I go over the pre-lab questions, one, those will get addressed then. Secondly, then I can do a screen share and we can go over some of that things. So I'm thinking that's going to be a better use of the Zoom meeting, to have something like that, because a lot of times these labs are self-explanatory, so I don't really need to talk much about them. In fact, so far they've been 100% that way. I need to clarify things, but that's not a lecture.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Second thing, I just answered a bunch of questions on formatting. You can see some of that on the chat. So maybe if you want to take you can copy down the chat or something and
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
and paste it like in a document or something, just so that you have it in the future.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't adjust everything in I was mostly focusing on verbal steps, so I don't know how useful the chat's going to be. But one of the most important things in there is when the students, Rowan made a Discord channel. It's actually really good. It's well organized. I do like it quite a lot because it not only has good organization, but just the format of having Discord is really, really helpful for me as a TA, and also for all of you guys. Like, this is just actually a better learning tool than individual emails in Zoom. So that's actually pretty exciting, and I'm happy about that. So join that Discord. I can actually just give you a link right now. Another one.
Is it the UHM chemistry 161? No, okay, no. I'm in general chem lab. Yeah, general chem. Yeah, the general chem Discord. I'm not in the lab.
I just posted the Discord link.
All right. Thank you.
And then in the Discord, students are also asking questions. So if you go into general and lab help, actually mostly general, they've been asking questions and I've answered some of them there. So you can go back and refer yourself to that.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, I would just look at that. That's going to be easier than me just reiterating the whole thing. I guess maybe something else is probably pretty critical for you to know is that this lab today, and for simulation labs in general, you don't need to write a full report for. You, for the most part, complete the worksheet, and then you add on to it an objective, results, calculations, and conclusion. So those are pretty easy things because like the conclusion is like a few sentences to a paragraph. The objective is literally one sentence. The results is usually one table, and then the calculations are kind of inherent. You do the calculations as you do the report anyway, so it's like it's not any additional thing.
Yeah, so like I printed out the lab manual from the density lab, and I kind of just did all the calculations on the questions, like asking for percent error and like calculating.
That's fine.
Okay, yeah. I didn't really do it on a separate piece of paper.
That's fine. I don't think that makes sense to. I want to say that you can do it one calculation from each of those things.
Yeah.
But for every for every equation that you use and for like analytical functions, you should show me at least one example of the calculation. But for the most part, so far at least, I can't speak for every report because I've not gone through every single chapter. It seems to be that they ask you that question anyway, which means the calculations is already inherently part of the sheets that you have to complete. Like
for the lab manual, or no, not the lab manual, my lab report, my handwritten lab report for the calculations part, I just did like one like calculation of like calculating uncertainty.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me just only one for each.
All right.
So for each category of variable, you don't need to show me more than one ever. And some calculations are so simple, like average. You don't need to show me average.
Yeah.
Showing me how you get density, I don't think I need that either. Some things which are a little more complicated, like showing me the confidence interval and the standard deviation, that's useful. So that kind of thing.
Okay. All
right. So that means also today the lab report's due at noon, so it's not a whole lot of time left, but it's still something in case you have last minute questions or any other things you need to change on it.
Is that the lab report for the density or
it's for density?
Okay, I turned that in last night, so I'm okay.
Looks like you're doing fine.
Okay.
What else? Most of the early recording was just answering specific questions about the report.
Okay.
Especially before I completed the report, they're not super relevant for you. And I've kind of covered most of what's relevant for this upcoming lab, and then whatever other clarifications you need, you can find in Discord. So I think that's basically it.
All right. Oh, thank you, Dylan. I'm gonna head out now.
Of course, Pablo.
Okay.
Next week.